Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about whether Deku was in Hazbin Hotel. So in the last video, Deku, after being captured by Velvet and her goon, she told Izuku that she wants to kill this guy by the name of Lemony Sticket, which apparently he decided to, escape to the human world. So, after recruiting, Big Fist, aka Kendo, and Half and Half, aka Todoroki, to go to the human world and basically capture this guy or kill him. They gone to Im City to basically meet the cast of Hell of a Boss, where Izuku told the leader of IMP to basically let them use the book so they can go to basically the human world. So they were told that his daughter by the name of Luna is gonna be going with them, just as long as they don't hurt her. So yeah, so after they get there, it's a complete disaster. Like the Hero Society is basically in shambles right now. So, after basically going into a pretty shitty, a really shitty apartment filled with bugs, they decide to watch TV, and Izuku saw Bakugo and decided to, don't watch, the news. So, yeah, they were basically resting for now, so they can prepare to find, Lemony Snicket, aka the guy that Izuku means to kill. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. Oh, Izuku basically wakes up in the middle of the night to basically tell everybody to basically get ready. So, Izuku decides to wear this type of mask, basically like a skull with just one hole. Not really a hole, it's more like a visor. So, yeah. So, Todoroki decides to wear, a half and half, mask. One side is basically black and the other one is pure white. And for, Kendo, she's wearing a, just imagine one of those, gas masks that you would see in, the dollar store or something. That's basically what she's wearing. When everybody was basically, wearing their masks, Luna says this. I really don't want to wear a mask. Izuku says this. Do you want the police to basically find us? And she says this. Don't worry. Besides, I can just shapeshift. Izuku says this. That's what I'm afraid about. Just wear this. So, Luna was given a, just imagine one of those plastic masks that you would see in the in the dollar store, just those those crap looking Halloween masks would see, the ones that look like a melted version of a so-called witch, but instead it looks like it's made from pure clay. It basically looks like that. So yeah, Luna says this. There's no way I'm not gonna wear that. Izuku says this. If you don't want to, then, we're freaking dead. As she says this. Fine. So, she transforms into her human form and wears, the mask. As she says this. It feels quite a bit tight. Izuku says this. Maybe I can just loosen it up. So, after loosening it up, the thread breaks. Izuku just face palms. Izuku says this. Great, there's no other masks here. As she says this. Maybe I can try this. So, she decides to wear a paper freaking bag as a mask. Izuku says this. Let's just go. As everybody starts going out of the window and basically started going onto the streets to basically find out where the escaped demon is. So, yeah. So, Looking around, Izuku sees some, well, sketchy looking shops. Most of these shops are mostly filled with, well, how do I say it? Disgusting individuals. Let's just say that. So, after looking around, they find some, well, something interesting. In the park, they're basically in a park, by the way. In the park, they see several people just rallying around this guy. This man has, well, let's just say a interesting type of wardrobe. He's wearing a green jacket with, well, this almost like feathery type, well, collar, like made of fur, and it's purple. He's also wearing a bird mask and wears gloves. He says this. This is enough. We shall destroy these so-called heroes, these tyrants that used us, that called us freaks. Now, who's with me? As everybody starts cheering. As Izuku looks at the banner, it says that it's the leader of this, well, so-called, well, Millennium Group. Yeah, I'm gonna be calling it that. His name, after a bit of, well, eavesdropping, Izuku found out that his name is, well, Kaichisaki, also known as Overhaul. He used to be a Yakuza leader, but after, well, his friends being killed by heroes, and after, well, seeing the news about him being killed, well, he decides to, well, make this special group so he can end hero society good. So they can create a brand new society where quirks, even if it's villainous or heroic, even quirks that are weak and quirkless people, they will live in harmony together. And that is what he's trying to do. He wants to basically end all of this equality. So, Izuku, after hearing all of that, Izuku says this. Interesting. So, wait for a second, guys. Sorry about that. I was just drinking some juice. It just tastes so good. So, Izuku was basically interested until Luna says this. Let's just focus on the plan already. Izuku says this. Oh, right. So, after looking around, they couldn't find any evidence about, well, where Lemmy Snicket is. Until they hear a loud smash. They see several heroes. One of them was most prominent, which was a man with a flaming beard and mustache. As Todoroki looks mad, Izuku says this. Wait, is that? As she says this. Yes, that's my father. That bastard. His name. As it's Endeavor. Endeavor says this. Take down these terrorists immediately. These, well, policemen and heroes started, well, grabbing all these, well, people. As Overhaul and his group basically escaped in a, well, sorry about that, in a white van. Sorry about that. It's just, wait for a second. So, after Overhaul escapes, Izuku and the rest of his team basically, well, are hiding. As, well, Endeavor says this. Try and find the others. If they are hiding, well, capture them. I want them in jail immediately. As these policemen and heroes say this. Yes, sir. They salute to him as they started going off. So, yeah. Izuku says this. We should try and escape before they can catch us. So, after sneaking around, well, Luna accidentally, well, steps on a branch as everybody hears it. As Izuku says this. God dang it, Luna. As Endeavor says this. Who is there? As the policemen basically started going off and basically getting ready to, well, capture Izuku and his team. But Izuku using a little bit of voodoo magic from, after a bit of training from, Alistair. If you don't know, well, apparently Alistair is actually part Louisianian. I meant Louisianian. I mean, basically he practices voodoo. Apparently he's from Louisiana. That where Gumbo and basically like the bayou is basically from. Apparently he practices voodoo. Apparently because if you've seen the scene from where Alistair's using his powers, apparently those symbols are apparently the alphabet of voodoo, which I was really interested in, especially with all of the dolls, which extremely almost look like a stereotypical like voodoo doll, even though voodoo dolls does they don't really look like that at all. Izuku, after using a little bit of voodoo magic taught to him by, Alistair, Izuku teleports them all up in a building where the policemen say this. God dang it! Try and find them immediately! As the rest of these other policemen started going off, and also the heroes. Izuku says this. Thank God I had the power to use teleportation. Now Luna, next time don't be that reckless. As she says this. Whatever, old man. Izuku says this. I'm not old, I'm just... Anyway, let's just go back into our crappy apartment. As they decide to do that. So, yeah. So, after going back to that crappy apartment, they decide to, plan a next, their next plan of attack. Where they're going to be going to a area in the slums. Apparently, some people in the slums say that there's some sort of, monster or yokai, as they usually call it, terrorizing that place. Apparently, the yokai in question looks like a man with, with a serpent-type head, and have, a venomous tail, almost like a scorpion. Izuku says this. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Lemony Snicket. As wait for a second. As Luna says this. Yeah, that definitely looks like the description of that guy. Izuku says this. Let me just ask, Velvet. As, wait for a second. As Toroki says this. Wait, you're able to do that? Izuku says this. Yeah. I got on this cell phone, and thankfully Alistair didn't notice it. As, Luna says this. Who? As, Todoroki and, Kendo basically look at her, saying, you don't know who Alistair is? The, after a bit of, talking, Izuku basically is outside, and basically, was talking to Velvet in the, human world with his brand new, Vox, brand phone. As Izuku says this. So, I'm guessing this is the script. What is the description of, this Lemony Snicket guy? As she says this. Well, he looks like a, just imagine the most, ugliest thing that you can think of. Izuku says this. Like, what? As she says this. Alright. He looks like a bear with several body parts mixed around. Like, he has like a robotic arm, a snake-like tail, and Izuku says this. That's definitely not the description of that, yokai that I found out in the slums. As she says this. Huh. I'm guessing he mixed his parts again. As, Izuku says this. Wait, what? As she says this. His ability allows him to basically shapeshift. Basically similar to yours, but except, she means to, he means to cut up a person's parts so he can transform into them. Like, for example, a piece of their hair, or even their arm, or even their blood. Izuku says this. So, I'm guessing that looks like a mixed match, Potato Head, as she says this. Yeah, but most of those transformations look imperfect. Like, for example, that's why he mostly gotten, well, like some sort of, well, scorpion type tail or something. Sorry about that. Wait for a second. No, there we go. Izuku says this. Hmm. Alright. So, after hanging up, well, we're basically in the mind of, well, Velvet. As she says this. I wanted to talk to him a little bit longer. Hmm. She kind of pouts. Basically like that. So, back to Izuku. Wait for a second, my nose. So, Izuku was basically outside as Izuku decides to take a smoke. While taking a smoke, Izuku sees something peculiar. Izuku recognizes the girl from the news last time. Apparently, her name was like Ochako Oraka in the news. But she's also a UA student. But Izuku sees that she's wearing a similar type of shirt to, well, to that group that wants to end the Hero Society. She's also going inside of a, well, some sort of hidden, well, how do I say it? Like a hidden room. Wait for a second. In some sort of, well, hidden, what do you call it? Like, hidden room in the, well, bottom of the trash bin. Or should I say, what is that called? Like, a, yeah, let's just call it like a trash bin. Izuku says this. Interesting. So, yeah. Izuku tells, well, the rest of his, well, team, quote unquote, about, well, the description of, well, Lemony Snicket. As, well, Velvet, not Velvet, I meant, Luna says this. So, this Lemony Snicket guy, he can sort of, well, shapeshift. Izuku says this. Yeah, and, well, apparently his weakness is, well, apparently his weakness is his heart. As, well, Todoroki basically says this. So, like a vampire, Izuku says this. Sort of, I guess. You just need to shoot him in the heart. That's how we're going to kill him. I wish I got some sort of, well, weapon that allows him to basically pierce their heart. As, well, basically, wait for a second. As Luna says this, wait, you have that heavenly sword. Izuku says this, oh yeah. I mean, it could sort of stab, but unfortunately it only uses for slicing, not, well, stabbing. As, well, Luna says this, wait a minute. She grabs, well, a suitcase that she brought from, well, hell to here. As she opens it up, as inside of it is a special, well, crossbow. Sorry about that. As, well, Luna says this. Apparently Blitz, bought it. Unfortunately, it used all of our money. As Izuku says this. Is this a heavenly crossbow? Huh. Now this seems fun. As, well, Todoroki says this. Huh, interesting. I've never seen any heavenly weapon like this. Most of them look like spears and swords to me. Izuku says this. Now this shall be fun. As Izuku says this. Alright, everybody just go to sleep. We're gonna be preparing for tomorrow. As everybody decides to go to sleep. So, yeah. So, but unfortunately Izuku lied because he's gonna be going, well, out by himself. So, Izuku puts on his, well, creepy looking skull mask, goes off to try and find Lemony Snicket. So, when he gets to the, well, to the slums, well, Izuku sees that there's several body parts. Most of them, well, having bite marks. And others, well, almost look like they're trying to get out of that place. As when Izuku looks, Izuku sees a man that looks like, well, serpentious but more sadistic. So, he he looks like a realistic type snake, but except with, well, lion-like claws. As he says this, so more slay. Izuku says this. Do you mean prey? Or should I say you? You are my prey. Wait for a second. Sorry about that, guys. As the guy says this. Well then, time for you to die. She's... I meant, it starts crawling towards Izuku. Izuku blocks the attack. Izuku slices him, well, with one of his demonic blades. As... I meant one of his blades, which is the demonic one. He gets sliced, well, his arm. Says, God dang it, my arm, you little... What type of weapon is that? Are you using some sort of quirk? As Izuku says this. No, I'm using a demonic blade. Anyway, time for you to die. Izuku uses his, well, his angelic blade. Izuku slices his, well, bottom half. Izuku says this. So, any last words? Namely, I meant, wait for a second. Any last words, Lemony Snicket? As the guy says this. Who? As Izuku says this. Wait, you're not Lemony Snicket? As he says this. No, I'm just a typical serial killer. I don't know who the hell is this Lemony Snicket guy or whatever. Izuku says this. Then what are all of these body parts? As he says this. Oh yeah, I just prefer eating them. I'm a cannibal. Izuku just says this. Then why is you're stitched like together? As he says this. Well, I'm basically a failed experiment. Izuku says this. Failed experiment? As he says this. Yeah, this guy by the name of All for One. He wanted to create these special high-end Nomus. Izuku says this. Nomus? As he says this. Yeah, they're basically zombies with quirks. Izuku says this. Interesting. As he says this. Yeah, I'm just one of his failed experiments. Unfortunately, my intelligence made me too powerful, so he decided to try and kill me, but unfortunately, I escaped. So I've been living here in the sewers for a long time now. I think it was 4 months ago, or 5, I can't remember. Izuku says this. Fine then. Izuku basically shoots his sword back into his, well, hilt. Izuku says this. Guess you can live. You're not really my target. As he says this. Then who the hell is your target? This Lemony Snicket guy. Guess you can just live. I'll be going now. As he says this. Happy travels or whatever. I just gotta be eating. As he grabs an arm and starts chewing it down. Izuku says this. Wrong target. Izuku sighs and goes back to, well, to the apartment where Izuku basically sneaks in and goes to sleep. So, yeah, I hope you liked the video. Subscribe and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!